Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin bounced exactly as predicted on this support line. Today's video, the entire market up 5%. Watch out for this one shocking Bitcoin move that nobody sees coming. You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video we're talking about the one shocking Bitcoin move that nobody sees coming. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also come join us over on Twitter at the Crypto Love. Now, if we take a look right now, fear and greed index in neutral. I know it says fear right there, but this is neutral territory. It's not fear. It's not greed. It's just neutral. Nobody knows what's happening. However, the market has responded today, up almost 5% for the day. Bitcoin at 43,558, Ethereum at 30.19, BNB at 415, XRP at 82 cents, Cardano 107, Solana $100 even, Terra Luna at 54.74, and Avalanche at 84.15. And if we take a look at some of the best coins to buy today, based on artificial intelligence, machine learning, over 80 indicators to tell you exactly which ones to buy on one of the most profitable exchanges right now, Gate.io, 815%. Using these indices, we head over to Token Metrics, go to Analytics, go to Indices, click Daily, Low Cap No on Gate.io, and today we get Tether Gold, Elrond, Shiba Inu, Bitcoin, and Multivac. Now, if you haven't checked out Token Metrics yet, they do have an insane sale going on, 30% off. Check it out. There's a link down in the description. Use the code LOVE30. Now, if we take a look at Bitcoin today, what is this shocking thing that nobody knows what's going on? Well, if we take a look at some of the headlines, Bitcoin's range-bound as traders hedge risks. That's right. Macroeconomic uncertainty and Russia-Ukraine tensions have kept investors on edge. Bitcoin price has been moving sideways, not really going up, not really going down. People are scared. As a matter of fact, right now we have three indicators that predict Bitcoin price falling to $24,000 to $27,000 this year. And you're like, ugh, how could this possibly happen? Randall, you're normally so bullish. And granted, I am. If you don't believe me, you could check out yesterday's video right here. Whole bunch of evidence why I think the market's going up. But historically, we've thought the market's going up and it goes down. So let's take a look at some of these indicators that could predict what Bitcoin price could potentially do. First thing is Bitcoin's logarithmic fractal growth model that relies on Bitcoin fractals and consists on logarithmic scales of both axes, then predicts where Bitcoin could likely go. So if we take a look at this chart right here, we could see that historically it has sell points when it gets into this red area of the logarithmic growth. Then after that, it goes down into the green area, which is the buy zone. Well, we recently had two touches of the red sell area, which would likely send Bitcoin down into the buy area. So this buy area would be somewhere between, let's say like $35,000 and $22,000, somewhere in that area. It could be sending it. Best possible scenario for buy opportunities will be $24,000 to $27,000. Not only that, but ribbon support. Similar to the LFG model, these ribbon supports show ranges of moving averages. And if we take a look, this is, I believe, on a pretty large time frame. What is this, 3-monthly time frame? We can see here that Bitcoin is way off of this ribbon support. You can see previously in past cycles, it has found support here on these ribbons, not recently. So we were way off of those ribbons. And if we zoom out, that's roughly around $20,000 to $24,000. Not only that, but also the weekly ribbon resistance, RSI. We can see, if we take a look at this chart right here, we're coming up to some resistance on the weekly ribbons. Not only that, but we also have what could potentially be some resistance on the weekly RSI as well. So those three indicators there are saying, hey, potentially Bitcoin price could be headed down. As a matter of fact, it may not be all bad because at least Bitcoin addresses are continuing to increase. But like I said, if you want to see more evidence as to why it's likely the price is going up, you'll definitely want to check out yesterday's video. But let's take a look at the one thing that could happen to Bitcoin that nobody, I would say almost nobody, is expecting. Because argue it if you want, but you can see here, the price has been going sideways for like a year. And you know this. It's just been like, ugh, Bitcoin, do something, but don't go down. Do something, but don't go down. Yeah. Well, if we take a look back in the history of Bitcoin, Bitcoin previously did something like that before. After the last peak, look at this. It pretty much went sideways for like a year right here, in this territory right here. And then, once everybody was convinced we had found the bottom, $6,500, everybody was convinced we found the bottom, guess what? Bitcoin price dropped, say like 51% from there. Well, that could potentially happen again. Now, granted, it didn't stay down there for long. It only stayed down there for, I don't know, December to around May, so for 5 months. But that was shocking because despite what's happened in the market so far, we've only ever yet come down 40 to maybe 50 some percent. Well, guess what? If we were to say, because right now people are like, oh, 30 is the bottom, 33 is the bottom, maybe 40 is the bottom. Well, I would say maybe it's not. We're actually on the crux of what could go on with Bitcoin. But if we take a look right now, let's say we all assume that $30,000 is the bottom. I mean, I've been assuming that for a long time, where if Bitcoin breaks below there, it's bad. If it breaks above 53, it's good. Well, let's say we get that 51% drop. Where would that put us? Right over at this bullseye, right here. This roughly $14,000 Bitcoin. And you're like, but that couldn't possibly happen. The last peak was at $20,000. And that's why it's the one thing that nobody's looking at, because this is basically out of the realm of possibility for most people. Dropping below previous all-time high. Bitcoin not repeating a pattern that it's done previously. And granted, while likely it will rhyme with history, there's a chance that it may not. And if we take the top from the peak here, bounce it off the peak here, we would hit that area roughly at the end of 2022. Now, if we've already topped out in 2021 and that was a peak and we do continue to have these 4-year cycles, well, that would be about the right time for the bottom before we take off pre-halving for next cycle. So that could potentially do it. Now, why else do I say this could possibly happen? Well, if we take a look at the psychology of a market cycle, now granted, Bitcoin price going from $70,000 to $33,000 was traumatic for a lot of people, and everybody's been saying we're in a bear market. But this doesn't look like a bear market to me. This looks like a sideways market. A bear market is when the price goes down, and it goes down for a long, long time, for years. This has just been going sideways for years. Not really a bear market yet, at least compared to what I experienced last bear market with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. That was years of the price just continuing to go down. This has only been months at most, not even a bear market. Why I think could potentially go down is because we're in this area where we're like anxiety and denial. Why am I getting margin calls? This dip's taking longer than expected. I mean, come on, this bear market's been going on for 2 months already. What the heck? Or my investments are with great companies. Dude, I've invested with Solana. Like, I invested with all these different things. They'll come back. And we haven't yet hit the shit hits the fan, the 100% capitulation. We just haven't seen that where people just rage quit Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies yet. Because basically, they're just flipping, flopping back and forth between crypto and NFTs. When crypto's going down, they buy NFTs. When crypto's going up, they buy crypto. So it's just like, they don't really care. I don't think we've seen this capitulation yet, which could potentially send the price down to levels which would be relatively unheard of. Now, is this likely to happen? No. This is just one of those things that I think that most people aren't thinking about. And I've thought about it a lot because while despite everybody saying this is a bear market and oh, it's terrible, this is literally nothing like 2018, 2019. That was terrible, down 90%. You bought $20,000, Bitcoin was barely $3,000. This is nothing like that. This is like, it's a 50% discount. I mean, what did you expect buying the top? But what could potentially send Bitcoin price to these levels? Well, we see in India right now the deputy governor saying that banning crypto is the most advisable choice because crypto has a destabilizing effect on the country's fiat currency. Or maybe it's the countries have a destabilizing effect on their own fiat currency. But despite it, that could be something that could send Bitcoin into a panic. Price tumbling down. If large governments say, hey, you know what, banning crypto is probably the most advisable choice, we're probably going to ban all cryptocurrencies, well, that could potentially send a lot of stuff tumbling. However, that's a big if, and a very, very unlikely to happen. Because what we're seeing, on the other hand, is things like this, where Fidelity's head of research saying that Bitcoin has significant upside potential. This guy, Chris Kuiper, has argued that Bitcoin still has significant upside potential while being a less risky investment because of its 13-year track record. So this comes from an interview with Cointelegraph where they published a report titled Bitcoin First. And he says that basically, you can't reinvent something that's already been invented in terms of the most secure, most decentralized, and what we consider as the best monetary good in the digital asset space. He says we don't need to reinvent the wheel, and he says while some other crypto assets indeed have higher upside potential, they're also riskier investments and should be regarded as venture capital bets because of these risks. So, that being said, in essence, Bitcoin right now is at a crux, okay? We are coming up between now and the end of February with a breakout. You can see a little coiling going on right here. If this breaks this support, well, guess what? We could be heading down there. However, if it maintains support, guess what? We could be going up to previous resistance if we break through this area, particularly if we get to $50,000 and above. Could be a huge short squeeze that sends Bitcoin much, much higher. So guys, that's all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. I'll catch you later. Love you. Peace.